In a lot of my videos, I cover stuff that Lithuania is well known for outside of its borders. Companies like NordVPN and Vinted are two good examples of internationally well-known Lithuanian brands. Within Lithuania's borders, there are some pretty well-respected companies that most locals would agree make quality products. With this in mind, let's take a quick look at 3 such companies. Going alphabetically, let's first go with the clothing brand Odimas. Taken as a word, Odimas is a noun that means weaving. At the same time, it's a well-known and well-respected activewear clothing company in Lithuania. Odimas is stated, at least by Wikipedia, to be the largest sportswear manufacturer in the Baltic states and has its headquarters in Kaunas. Its roots go all the way back to 1931, but it was only in 1991, after Lithuania regained independence, that the company really came into its current form. Odimas established its very first retail store in 1997 and proudly sponsors many major Lithuanian athletes. It recently won big time with its sponsorship of Aurimas Valujavičius. Earlier in 2023, the rower successfully crossed the Atlantic by himself and was supported by Odimas. On the company's website, Aurimas says, "I'm glad that Odimas took care of my comfort and preparation for any weather conditions during the trip by offering functional and extremely durable national collection clothing for the trip. What's more, I'm happy that we share the same values with our general travel partner. We strive to preserve Lithuanian historical and cultural memory and pass it on to future generations." In addition to shopping online, you can find Odimas stores at larger shopping malls across the country. I have yet to buy anything from them, but my wife has an Odimas jacket and loves it. My Lithuanian sister-in-law, who lives in the Middle East, always seems to make a trip to Odimas every time she comes back to Lithuania. I personally like the subtle inclusion of Lithuanian symbols into some of their products. It's one of those things where, if you're traveling abroad, only Lithuanians and people with knowledge of Lithuania will recognize. Next up is the brand of cheese known as Jugas, which is actually a subsidiary brand of the company Žemaitijos Pienas. Like Odimas, Jugas has their very own retail stores, which you'll find across Lithuania, but also in Latvia, Estonia, and Poland. So what is the origin of the name Jugas? Well, according to the company's website, a Samogitian or Žemaitian legend says that Jugas was a giant and strong warrior who lived in Samogitia in the old days and protected it against invaders. According to legend, Jugas met Ostele, a farmer's beautiful daughter, and fell in love with her and married her. Samogitian traditions meant that after the wedding night, the newlyweds had to show the guests the cheese that they made. The giant Jugas and his wife Ostele show their guests a strong, large, and delicious cheese. All the guests loved it, and thus much more of this cheese was made. The company website says that while the recipe of the cheese was passed down for generations, it ended up in the hands of Žemaitijos Pienas and their dairy experts. You'll find Jugas cheeses in most supermarkets, and as mentioned earlier, you'll see Jugas retail stores too. These stores aren't just stores and are more like cheese-centered cafes, with a few comfortable tables and chairs. These stores will sell ice cream, while you'll also find cakes, coffee, and tea sold, in addition to cheese, of course. A selection of Jugas cheeses might be purchased for a wine and cheese night, or I've also heard of it being purchased as a gift for foreigners and expats to take home when they leave Lithuania. As you can see here, Jugas cheeses have won numerous awards at food events all around the world. The very last brand I'll focus on is the chocolate company Ruta. I was a little torn with mentioning this one because there's another fairly big Lithuanian chocolate company known as Pergalė. I asked around and it appears that Ruta is the more dominant brand in the country, and it's probably helped by the fact that they also have retail stores. Maybe I'll talk about Pergalė in the future, but for today's video, I just want to focus on 3 brands. Ruta's first production facility was established in Šiauliai in 1913. At that time, most business enterprises in Lithuania were managed by the representatives of ethnic groups. In order to emphasize the Lithuanian nature of the workshop, the founder named it after the country's national plant, Ruta. Throughout the Soviet occupation, Ruta was nationalized and belonged to the government. It wasn't until 1993 that the company became independent once again, with ownership going to the son and granddaughters of the founder. The company has won a few awards at international exhibitions for its chocolate, winning the Grand Prix in Italy in 1929 and a gold medal in Great Britain in 1931. But there you have a quick rundown of some notable Lithuanian companies. They're not exactly world famous, but they are definitely well respected among Lithuanians and even across this part of Europe. So for those watching, have you ever tried products from any of these companies yet? Let me and others know your opinion of them by leaving a comment down below. For the Lithuanian word of the day, let's go with the words pagaminta Lietuvoje, which, as a phrase, simply means made in Lithuania. Pagaminta Lietuvoje. That's it for today's video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.